My little sister, Sophia, lets us know that another boy had taken his life. And that was when I was like, you know what, I can't sit around and do nothing about this. I've been so fortunate and lived this extraordinary life with plenty of ups and downs along the way, but I've learned some incredible lessons, and I was like, maybe I can go and share my story with some kids at my local high school where I went and let them know my journey and some of the skills that I've learned along the way. From that day, I've now spoken to over 75 schools, about 30,000 students all around the country. I've retired from surfing. I've done workshops and programs with different corporate groups like Apple, McDonald's, Telstra, Amazon, Red Bull. And I've just been so fortunate to share my story. So hopefully with a bit of an open mind today, with a bit of curiosity, you might all leave here thinking about mental health a little differently. Maybe just a little perspective shift, because that's what we're aiming for today. To give you some very simple little skills that can maybe bring you from a 5 out of 10 up to a 7, from a 2 up to a 5. Hey, it might bring you from a 5 up to a 10. We're about trying to find some maintenance things for our mental health. When the bucket's empty, I have good mental health. I'm feeling light, I'm feeling free, I'm feeling happy. When the bucket's full, I have poor mental health. I'm feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, depressed. And when that bucket overflows, that's when I believe we reach mental illness. When we get to that really tough point in our life where we have to use those incredible resources that we do have here in Australia, from Lifeline, Kids Helpline, school counsellors, speaking to the people in our life. We're so lucky we do have some incredible things here in Australia to catch us if we overflow. But I believe our personal goal should be to understand where our bucket's at and then have the skills to bring us back to a good level ourselves. So, first I'm going to show you that all of our buckets fill up from time to time. I'm going to share with you 4 different things that I've gone through in the past 2 years of my life that have been pretty hard and have filled up my bucket. So I'm going to need a show of hands as we go through, if you can relate to something maybe quite similar that's happened to you at some stage in your life that has maybe made your mental health not that good. So, first one, 12 months ago I lost my last grandparent. Pretty hard for myself and my family to deal with, losing someone. Who's ever had somebody pass away in your life and it's been quite sad and hard to deal with? Yeah, very common. Something that we can't escape. We're going to lose people in our lives and it's going to be sad. It's going to make us not feel amazing. What about who's ever had a relationship breakdown? It could be with one of your mates. You've had an argument and you've just had a fight and you go home and you just, I wish I showed up a bit differently with that. Or you've been in a relationship and it's just broken down. Who's ever had a relationship breakdown and an argument with someone and it's just played in your head over and over? Yeah, relationships. So tough to deal with sometimes. What about who's ever had an injury or an illness? And you've missed out on doing the stuff that you love to do because you've been sick or injured. Yeah, there you go, all of us. And lastly, who's ever wanted to buy something and you haven't had the money to do it? You've kind of financially been like, I can't afford to do that. Mum and Dad said I can't buy that new surfboard. Yeah, money. The older you get, the even harder it gets. Hey, look at that. Bucket's pretty full, yeah? We all agreed we go through this stuff. It's inevitable that we're going to go through tough times and our bucket will fill up. So life's not about avoiding those tough times. It's about understanding that when our bucket fills up, what can we do to empty it? So on the side of this bucket, I've got 5 little holes covered by 5 stickers. As we go through the workshop, you're going to see my mental health get better. I'm going to share with you 5 very simple little values, some techniques that go with them, and some stories from my life that'll hopefully maybe relate to you guys so you can add it into your life too. I used to try and practice gratitude and I'd just think stuff and I'd just be like, I'm thinking about this, and it wasn't really doing anything for me. So then I spoke to my psychologist and asked him about gratitude, and he said, try not to make gratitude a thought. Make it a feeling. Make it in your gut and in your chest, in your heart. So for a minute, in a second when I tell you to start, I want everyone to just sit there, close your eyes for a minute and just really sit and feel, yeah, that person really does make my life a bit better. Oh, that place does make me happy. I feel great there. And then that food, yeah, it does taste good and make me happy. And then the second part of the exercise, once I say we're done with the eyes closed part, we're going to turn to the person next to us, or little groups of 3, and we're going to let them know about the 3 things that we thought about. So many of us are finding it really hard to concentrate now because there's more distractions than we've ever had to deal with as humans. There's screens around us everywhere. There's pings in our pocket. There's pings in our wrist. Everywhere our attention is getting pulled away. So it's not your fault that your attention isn't great, but it is your responsibility to start to pull it back, to use some different techniques that can bring our attention back so you can be more present, whether it be just in a conversation with a friend, with a family member, or competing, doing a sport, or doing an exam. When we can bring our presence back, we perform at a higher level. So when my sports psych said to me, well, it's not my fault, I was like, well, what can I do to bring it back? And he said, I'm going to show you a really cool technique. I was like, okay, what is it? And he said, what we're going to do is connect to our senses. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, our senses are only ever in the present moment. Our sight, our hearing, our smell, our taste, and our touch are only ever in the present moment. So the more that we can connect with these senses, the more we get out of up here and back to our body, back to the present. And I'm going to show you a little exercise which we're all going to do together. So it's going to take us about 2 minutes, and we're going to focus on 3 of these senses. First, we're going to focus on our sight. Second, we're going to focus on our hearing. Third, we're going to focus on our touch sense. But I'm going to talk to you about the other side of kindness and receiving it, because this is something we're pretty bad at, especially here in Australia. Who's had this happen before? Someone offers you a gift or a compliment, and you do this. Oh, I don't deserve that. Who's felt like that before? 70% of us statistically usually feel like that. I'm going to challenge you not to feel like that anymore, and I'll tell you why. Because when someone offers us a gift or a compliment and we do this whole, oh, I don't deserve this, that's blocking them a chance of doing something that makes them feel good. That's blocking them a chance of doing something that's literally making them chemically feel better. So from now on, when someone offers you a gift or a compliment and you feel a bit undeserving on it, I encourage you to just use 2 words. Thank you. It's so hard sometimes, but it encourages people to give more. It makes more kindness go around. It makes people happier. So next time someone offers you a gift or a compliment, wow, that was epic.